What is happening, guys? Welcome to Firing Blanks Episode 2. Liverpool have just won the league. We have just finished watching the City game. James is here with me. James, how did you do this week?
How do I do this? Oh, brilliant. Yeah, thank you.
Go on, tell
Hilarious. I don't know, actually. Sometimes you have those FPL weeks where you just think, I'm not going to look at my team. You know?
No.
It's like sometimes you get like a spot on your arse cheek. You just think, I'm not even going to try and look at it. I know it's there. I know it's causing me pain whenever I sit down. I'm just going to let it pass and move on. And that's exactly what's happened with this FPL game week.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I know it's there. Just not going to look at it. Move on. Drive past the car accident, folks. Don't try and look for the body.
Well, I mean, you're a host of a very popular podcast. You're Firing Blanks co-producer, and you didn't look at your team nor change your captain. So
no, I did. The thing is, right? Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't. I missed the deadline, and it's the first time I've ever done it in years. It's the first time I've ever missed a deadline. I did it because I thought every match was an evening kickoff. I thought it was a 7:45 jobby, like the midweeks used to be. And the 6 o'clock caught me off guard, like a bloody chump.
Who leaves it to the last set? We had a fucking deadline stream.
I know.
That you said you couldn't make. How does that happen? Right, anyway, let's go through. We've got loads of people in the chat. If you guys are listening for the first time on Spotify or Apple or whatever the fuck you listen to pods on, like, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Fancy giving us 5 stars or whatever you do. That would be nice. For everyone who's live in the chat right now, thank you very much for joining us this late. I know it's a bit later than usual. We've got bedtimes to adhere to, don't we, James? So we'll go quickly.
Yes.
Mystic Ramid's in here. Daffs is here. It's Ross here. Fellow is here. He's a wee bit drunk. He's away now. But he away to drink with the missus, who we think is a Liverpool fan, isn't she?
Yeah.
And did I see Ace Ventura's here? And Holly's here, actually. Hello, Holly.
Holly's so nice.
And all everyone else, how is it going? I had a decent week, but I took a hit, so I got a red arrow. Just the way it goes. But looking at your team, I'm actually really pleased with myself and how I've conducted myself.
Is it that bad?
Have you not looked yet? I mean, I wouldn't look.
No, I haven't. I genuinely haven't looked.
This is your team in front of us right now. I'm just going to read out some of your highlights, okay? Pope got 7 points, so well done. But he's on the bench. Bolly, 7 points. He's actually playing. You left Baldock in against Man United, which actually wouldn't have mattered because Rico and Egan didn't play any minutes, so he would have been subbed back on.
Well, that was intense. No, the things I did set this team, Dave.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. No, I did. I made changes. I made changes. I did. So Calvert-Lewin was benched last week. I did set this team. I just didn't. I would have probably made a transfer.
What would your transfer have been?
I don't know, actually. I probably would have got rid of Barnes, I reckon, because I didn't like the look of him in the first Leicester game, and
Leicester
I was worried
at all, really.
So so I probably would have got rid of. But it's easy to say that now, isn't it? But I reckon that's probably what I would have done.
Fair play. So you've got 47 points. And it looks like your over rank is just under 300k. So you're still doing better than me. You're still doing well.
You're shitting me.
Just under 300k.
Oh my! No, I started this week at 150.
No, I know. It's you just doubled your rank, mate. Well done.
God, I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. Oh, that's horrible. Damn it! This is why you don't look at your own arsehole.
Right, we'll move on to my team. So I got 70 points, minus 862, and I still got a red arrow. So, I mean, what did you expect? I lost 50,000 places with 62 points. I had Doherty and Son and Rashford in, and I took out Aguero, Mahrez, and Lundstrom. And it turns into about 15 points in the positive, minus the minus 8, which is like, I don't know, do the math, mate. 7 plus points.
Holly, save us.
Save us with mental maths. So 7 points for that hit, which is not bad. The stream made me do it. If you guys were here, it was hilarious. I took a vote. Should I do the hit? 2 hits, Doherty out, and Mahrez out. It was going to be a hit. And they all said no. Vocal minority were like screaming for it. But I was like, there's probably loads of people in here that didn't want me to do it. Did a vote. They all said, no, don't do it. 2 minutes before, did it anyway. Just did it. I took one look at Doherty's fixtures. I was like, no, I want him for both weeks. And even if I wait till next week to bring him in, like I'm only going to really have that one decent fixture left before he has a bit of a worse time. So I just left it. Highlights for me was captaining Son over Fernandes. The stream didn't agree with that either. Fuck you all. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Fernandes 3 points on 6. Although I did have Rashford as my vice captain, so I probably would have captained him if I hadn't gotten Son. The people who actually, and we could talk about this first. The people who were disappointed was like Arsenal. Aubameyang's fucked it again. Like 3 times in a row now.
He didn't fuck it though. He was actually very, very good in that game.
Oh, see, that says 2 points. Unlucky. That says 2 points.
It does, Dave. Yeah, but this is the thing, right? Is that you've got to watch these matches and you've got to look at the performance. You're not the number under their name. You've got to look at their performance, Dave. What did you see from Aubameyang? I saw him hit the underside of the bar, and I saw him clean through on goal and get taken out and drew a red card.
True.
You know, another day. That's 13 points in the bag. We're happy. We're sitting here smug as fuck because we picked Aubameyang. So,
it would have been good. I mean, Arsenal just don't seem like they really want to score. Like, he has had individual opportunities every couple of games, or not every couple of games. He even had one against that Man City at the very end, right? Like, he is shooting enough for me, but like, he doesn't seem bothered that he's missing. He went off. He's like, smiles at the end of the game because they want, like, I want someone to be like selfish. I want someone to be sitting there like dedicated to scoring. Like, see when Abraham got a cross coming into him there, then they were 2-1 up against City. And then he, like, I think it was Azpilicueta, like, missed it, and there was a bit of miscommunication in the box. He was raging. Like, that's what I want. I want that. And Aubameyang's just not doing. Arsenal in general aren't really doing that. The only reason they won 2-0 is because that red card at the end there, and that kind of like Nikita actually bringing it because he's under the age of 20 and he needs to cement his spot. So it's just annoying owning Arsenal players.
I want a player who actually gets angry when other teammates score. You know how you get, like, Mo Salah, when he celebrates a Mane goal, he does it in the same way that someone who's just lost an award nomination applauds the person who won. They're like, oh, yeah, brilliant. You know, doing it for the cameras, but you can tell inside he's like, fucking wanker.
No, wait, hold on. It would be like this. So I'd win, and then it would show the little tiny camera of you being Salah, right? So ready. So Mane just scored, and I'm like, yes! And you're Salah, go for it. Nice. Okay, great. Ridgeboy83, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that, mate. I nearly missed that. I was wondering what that sound was again.
FPL Merch, the unofficial sponsor of this stream and pod, represent FPLmerch.com. He has asked me to ask you a question, Dave.
Right, go for it.
He says, why did I do so bad this week?
Hugh asked Son or Martial.
Huh?
He asked me Son or Martial.
Oh no! So there's a history here.
It was literally messing me. He was like, "What do you think of this team?" And I was like, "I mean, I'm transferring in Son. I think he's going to do really well. He has great fixtures, and like, Martial isn't just the main attacking threat in the team anymore because they've got, like, you know, Rashford back, and Martial gets subbed a lot. So I think Son's going to play the full 90, and like, he's one of their main attacking threats. So I would go for that." And he was like, cool, no worries. And
Dast has just said in the chat, fucking hell, Dave, you just made me take a -8 hit. Why are people taking your advice? Guys, stop taking Dave's advice. This is what happens.
You can't fucking talk. Look at the state of your team.
FPL Merch is a cautionary tale of what happens.
If you ask other people to do your transfers for you, I think, is what you're about to say, right?
You've got to stay away from Dave.
Oh. Well, my own shit works. So we talked about Arsenal a little bit. Like, I'm happy to hold Aubameyang for one more week. I just don't want to. Like, it's not fun. I want to have fun. I miss Jimenez. He keeps fucking me up. I'm annoyed with Jota in my team. So Yeah, there's a few things I want to do, but let's move on to Man United. Thank you very much for the segue. FPL merch, shout out. What did you think of Man United, and what are you going to do with, you've only got one player?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not reading into that 3-0 win too much. With Martial, we know he's got that in his locker, and he's an impressive player, and I think a lot of people will be jumping on him. I'm not going to do that yet.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it was a dilapidated Sheffield United defence that they put free against. Yes. Every team here is coming back from a 3-month break, and that is going to benefit some teams more than others. I think Sheffield United, their whole brand is built on a habitual rigidity, which they build up as the season progresses. And I think having that 3-month break is a bigger spanner in the works for them than it would be for the average team. And it's showing, they are making mistakes that Sheffield United are simply not prone to making. Mm-hmm. We saw the mistake that allowed some maximum score in their Newcastle game for the first goal. I mean, it was awful. Weird. It was comically bad. The sort of thing that I used to do on the playground.
Yeah.
So, like the red card, they are injury stricken, suspension stricken. Their defence is their foundation.
And Henderson wasn't playing. They had to play their second keeper as well.
And that too. So, with those things considered, yes, Man United look impressive. They've got good fixtures, and we are expecting big things of them now that they have a fully fit team.
Mm-hmm.
But am I necessarily going to start tripping up on them like you? No, not necessarily. And Wan-Bissaka was incredibly lucky.
Incredibly lucky.
That is the most points he's going to score in a single game for the rest of the season. I can tell you that much.
If you haven't yet, I made a very nice phone call during the game to James and tweeted about it. You can go find it on my Twitter if you haven't listened to it yet. Man United's on the screen. Brighton next, then Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Southampton, Crystal Palace, West Ham. You can't get a better fixture.
It's nice, isn't it? It's nice. And actually, a triple up. What's so nice when you do triple up on a team, the thing that you want is to be able to look forward to every time they're playing. Because you've got free players. It's always exciting when you're watching a team where you own free players involved. And all of those fixtures are going to be exciting. Like all of them, you're going to be rubbing your hands before the game, and you're thinking, "Oh, this is it."
It's true, and not only that, but it's actually fun to watch Pogba and Bruno Fernandes play in the same team. Stars are aligning. This shit's awesome. The only problem is I don't have fucking not Maris. Well, I don't have him either now, but I don't have Martial. That's the only problem, and he is their number 9. He is the spear, and he cemented his place, right, because of the old hat trick, which is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, he is, and actually, I think Rashford operates very well playing on the wing. I think that Solskjaer has managed to find an arrangement that suits all of those players really well, which is impressive, because it could have been very easy for Man United to be in the kind of quandary that we see with Arsenal, where Aubameyang has to play on the wing, but isn't actually that good there. And it's not using him to his full potential.
Yep.
And Solskjaer has managed to find a way of extrapolating the full potential out of his squad. And so, fair play to him. And you know what, man? You could do far worse than triple Man United for the remainder of the season.
I'm going to ask you a question. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
No, you go. You go.
I'm going to ask you a question that a lot of people probably ask themselves before dismissing it, but then it keeps creeping back whenever they think about that hat trick, right? Martial in, Fernandes out, Bruno Fernandes out. Now, on the screen in front of us, Scout actually did a little looking into seeing what the differences are with Bruno's play now that Pogba's back. There's a bit of he's taken some of the passes away, he's taken some of Bruno's limelight as the kind of deep lying playmaker. So what do you think of that? What would you tell people who are like, oh, should I do it? Should I just take Bruno out?
No, I would say no, not yet. I think you need more time to see how that partnership develops. Bruno is still on penalties, we think. I know that there is, Holly's mentioned it a few times about the idea that they might alternate penalty takers. But I think Bruno, I would love to, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but I would speculate that this is the first match he's blanked in possibly his last 5 or 6 games. I think it is premature to be talking about removing Bruno. I think if you're going to double up on a midfield, and prior to the hiatus, it was a lot of people had Salah and Mane.
Mm-hmm.
I like with Man United's fixtures, you're not actually spending a huge amount on Bruno Fernandes and Martial as a double up there. They feel like two premium midfielders at the moment. One's playing OOP, the other has been incredibly consistent as far as his returns go. I think have them both. I don't think it should be one or the other. I think both of them can still provide.
Right. So for people who are like you who only have one or two, that's absolutely available. But for people who like me went for one of the best defenders right now, Wan-Bissaka, that's a lot more difficult because it means I need to take Rashford out if I wanted both.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, the albatross around your team's neck.
Mate, he's so good. He's had 11 crosses in the last 2 games, 4 key passes, and 1 assist. Whereas, your fullback prodigy fucking Aurier just passed 2 meters in front of him and managed to scalp a wee assist.
You've done your homework here, haven't you? You came into this battle prepared. You've got ammunition. I respect that. Those are impressive stats, Dave. And you know what? He's in our differential team, is he not? So there is a silver lining for me there.
Oh yeah, we will look at our differential team towards the end of the stream. I've got the fixtures up. So we've talked about Man United. We want to triple up on them. You're not 100% on bringing them all in all at the same time, but you do like Martial, which I respect.
I do like Martial, yeah. I mean, any time a midfielder is playing up front, he's always got to be worth looking at.
Ace Ventura in the chat said that differential team you guys have is garbage. Now, I just want to point out that every time we make a transfer in that, you guys can win more money. So, I mean, it's kind of good that it's garbage in a way.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, I'm not paying for it, James is, so I don't give a shit.
I'm the money man here.
He just bow, and I'm like, oh yeah, poor Army. So I've got here the next fixtures, right? Because I wanted to have a wee look and see who next week we should be focusing on. There's a lot of players that I want in. There's a lot of players I want to captain but don't have the greatest of fixtures, etc., etc. So actually, we'll look at the fixtures for the next 6. So long-term, Man United, Wolves, Spurs, Chelsea, Man City. Other than next week, these are all the best fixtures for Man City, at least. Now, is there anyone in there that you like desperately want? Man United, Wolves, Spurs, Chelsea, Man City, but wait a week.
I mean, I think you could comprise a squad of 15 players from those teams and be very, very happy with it. So I would say there's an argument to be made for anyone with good fixtures at the moment. And actually, what's been quite surprising since the return of football is that things have gone remarkably with fixtures in a way that I didn't necessarily expect. I thought there might be a little bit more unpredictability with the lack of crowds. But actually, Norwich are still losing games.
Mm-hmm.
Man City are still winning games. Although, of course, they lost tonight, but that was it. But, they started very, very convincingly as well. Yeah. I mean, we are seeing the same hallmarks that we saw prior to the hiatus, by and large. Obviously, there's always going to be exceptions in the short term. But I would say of the teams you've listed, Adama Traore is the first name that comes to mind for me.
Okay, let's start with Wolves then. That's a good point. Davs actually brought up. He redeemed the player versus player new point system that we've got on firing blank points. They're called. It used to be called Dave Money. You'd probably know it as. Das brought it up. Adama Traore versus Saint Maximum. Similar players. Similar fixtures ish. Newcastle have the next 2 fixtures they've got is Bournemouth, West Ham, and the next 2 fixtures for Wolves is Aston Villa, Arsenal.
A tough run after that for Newcastle.
Yes.
Listen, for me, I really like St Maximum, and I think if St Maximum was playing for Wolves, it would be a much harder question. But Traore is playing on a team it was littered with talent, and he's naturally going to profit from that more. When his service is going to the likes of Jimenez and Jota, he's going to get more assists than serving Joe Linton on a plate. So for me, it's a no-brainer, really. Maximum's a super exciting budget player, but Traore's the one.
It was honestly the worst shot I'd ever seen in my fucking life. I actually showed Emma Joe Linton's miss. She doesn't watch or care about football at all. I was like, you need to see this. Like, everyone needs to watch this. And then he scored later on, and everyone was like, oh, shall we delete our old tweets about laughing at him? I was like, no, it still happened. He's still the worst. It was just, they were 10 men down with a second keeper and like one centre back, wasn't it? I think one.
It was, yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of time for the striker who does something like that, picks himself up and creates a goal for himself.
Time. Yeah.
I do like that about him, actually. I've got to say, but it was the shooting equivalent of Chris Basham's attempted clearance, wasn't it? That let him
bringing it back to St. Maximum. So we're both. I think we're both right. Adama Traore is a much better pick, and he's actually someone who, if you punted on, a Watford player, or you punted on maybe a Chelsea midfielder like Mount or something, you don't really want them anymore, and you can't afford Pulisic, which we'll probably talk about soon. Then yeah, I'm cool with just going Traore. Wolves have got
do you worry about his shoulder, Dave?
Nah, so I was going to ask Ben Dinnery this, actually, next time we speak, because we're tight. We're on the same pod together, It's been on the stream. I was going to ask him, like, did they just pop it in and glue it? Like, what's going on? Did he have the operation, like, secretly?
Breadstick.
Yeah, exactly. He's on that age-old pop it back in and chuck something, like, maybe he's done that whole backward tape thing, that technique where you make it like a circle so it's sticky on all sides.
Do you reckon I get a can of oil and like grease it up around the hinges? Is that you? What's going on?
Yeah, that was my girlfriend's burning the flat down. Apologies.
Oh, no.
She's making me yummy treats. Sometimes she burns them.
She's going to send some my way, please.
She might. Did you like them last time she sent them?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's still the highlight of lockdown.
I was about to say, it's all right. The highlight of lockdown. Your lockdown's been shite then, mate, honestly.
Dave, I wish you were one of those divas who was like, how can I work in these conditions?
It's all smiles now. I'm gonna kick the shit out of her as soon as we go home. Ace Ventura in the chat said I checked my fire alarm just then. That's funny. And Shaughnessy, we got a few of yous. Nice one. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, so Wolves long-term fixtures good, short-term fixtures good. There's not a fixture in there that I think are bad. Like for attacking wise, Aston Villa good attacking, Arsenal good attacking, Sheffield United so far they've been pretty shocking at the back.
Good time to play them.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Yeah. So get Wolves in. We've talked about Man United, we talked about Wolves. Spurs next. First of all, Son in for both of us. Are we happy with his contributions? I captained him. I was actually frustrated.
A phenomenal goal that was unfortunately disallowed. Son, it was Son being Son, and it actually gave me a lot of hope. It's unfortunate for us that it didn't stand, but I think to see that spark that we saw so often prior to the hiatus is exciting for me as an owner. I'm very happy to keep him. I'm not that keen on putting too much stock into Spurs, though.
Yeah.
I don't want Harry Kane.
You don't want Harry Kane?
No, as much as he's got. I mean, if he was 7 million, I would consider him, but I don't have faith that he's going to justify his price tag.
Well, it'd be an easy swap for you, right? If are you keeping Aubameyang for just for one game week? For next game week. But
but we'll see what he does against Norwich. I mean, I'm convinced he'll score. In fact, I'm willing to put some kind of. I tell you what, I'll chuck a tenner into the pot, into the money where your mouth is team pot.
Really?
If Aubameyang does not score,
you realise we've got Kane in that. This is bloody irony. I love that. We're talking about Kane. You want Aubameyang? You think he's going to score instead of bringing in Kane? I love this shit. Right, a tenner. You heard it here first, folks. We got the first tenner in our money where our mouth are team, which means that if you are in our league, you can win that. Go on.
A quick caveat.
Not just this game week. It's got the whole rest of the season for the tenner.
He has to start.
Right, okay, he's got to start.
If he's injured or he's rotated, the bet's off.
Nah, I'm not having that. Tenner no matter what.
If he starts against Norwich, I think he'll score or assist. That is my proposition. Take it or leave it.
Okay, cool. No, I'm happy with that. But that's a good point, though. I don't know if he's going to start because they've got the FA Cup, right? And do they care about that? I mean, they're not going to win that league. They might not even get Champions League football. They need to get something to keep the fans on their side.
For Arsenal, I think this is more than just a European spot. I think this is: are we a bottom half team now, or can we still mix it in that top 8, top 9? I think for Arteta, he looks at it and the psychological damage that finishing in the bottom half could have for Arsenal is profound. I wouldn't underestimate that. I like to think that the Premier League remains the priority.
No, that's fair enough. So, getting back to Tottenham, then we like Son. We don't really want Kane that much. I'm having a look at his stats, his offensive stats. They're actually not bad. I'll show them on the screen right now. Harry Kane took 6 shots. 3 of them were on target. He dribbled once as well, which is pretty good for a centre defensive midfielder. Dispossessed 5 times, but that's okay. He had a yellow card, which is a bit of a shame. But then that goal, that classic goal as well, the ones we always want when we're playing Football Manager, that you clear on goal, 1-on-1, gets the goal.
Yeah. No, it was a well taken goal and nice to see. Harry Kane's one of those players, isn't he? That he's a confidence player. And that's the kind of goal that I think as a striker you probably love scoring. I say it like I'm a bloody ex-pro. As a striker, we like finishing those.
Right.
But I can imagine he would. Oh, here we go. He's cracking out the heat maps.
Heat maps on.
Love heat maps.
So this is the heat map for Kane. It's actually much better than last week. But he's been playing all over. That's not classic striker stuff. Compared to Son, that's kind of what you want to see is like a left wing player, right? Whereas if I showed you that, you'd think maybe centre attack at mid, maybe a midfielder, box to box. I would expect that to be a Kante sort of heat map. But, Kane is getting better every week. His heat map last week was shocking. Last thing, I'll give you 2 minutes. There's Aurier. Go.
There's a bit of a delay. There we go. Look at that. What a man.
And I'm going to show his statistics actually, because they are good. Like if you don't have him, he's only 5 million or whatever. 3 crosses this game. I think he had 5.
Are you about to defend Aurier?
He's been doing okay. Like I was scared not owning him for a little bit during the game.
Yeah, I got to admit, best attacking fullback in the league.
But he's good. He's not like right. Okay, I've given you 2 minutes. Is that all you need? He's the best attacking. Bring him in.
Mate, you've done a better job of justifying Aurier's inclusion in any squad far better than I ever could. So thank you. You've done the legwork for me.
Fair play. I mean, I could bring him in actually right now. I could do it for Lascelles. I'm just not going to because I don't want him. But
I mean,
he's not a bad choice. He's not a bad choice.
Your funeral.
Okay. Next up in the list, we've got Chelsea. What did you make of Chelsea? I think Pep underestimated Chelsea today, and I'll tell you why. He decided to play Sterling up there instead of Jesus. He had Mahrez on for the 3rd time in a row, so that spot hadn't been rotated. He also played Mendy again, who actually played well, but you've seen that fuck up in defence. They were like, absolutely, we're just going to go for this, and we don't really care because maybe Chelsea aren't... If they had done that against Southampton or something, or Newcastle or Brighton, any of the fixtures they've currently got, like I wouldn't be like, oh, that's that wasn't a bad idea because you want all attacking for them. But they really underestimated the Chelsea through balls, and Chelsea kind of brought it to them a little bit today, and I think he'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I think Man City, the way that they play means that any team that has any hope in beating them has to be very opportunistic with their chances. They have to really take them. And it is the oldest commentator cliche in the book, like, you get chances against Man City, you've got to put them away, and that is what they did really well. I mean, Pulisic's first goal was fantastic. He still, it obviously was a huge mistake on between Gundogan and Mendy, but he had a lot of work to do. He picked it up in his own half, and I'm impressed by Pulisic. I think Lampard was singing his praises after last game, where, of course, he scored a few minutes after coming on, and consolidating that with another goal, a great solo effort as well against Man City of all teams. I think pretty much cements him in Lampard's plans for the foreseeable.
Yes.
And he's. We remember Pulisic from the first half of the season when he had that amazing spell of 5 or 6 games. I brought him in just as it came to an end, but he's seducing me once again, Dave. What do you reckon?
Pulisic is just basically said, hey, you've played me 3 times. I've nearly scored 3 times. Like, clearance off the line. I bet Kyle Walker's raging, by the way. He did all that work and then fucking handball 2-1 loss. But yeah, Pulisic has just said to the gaffer, like you said, like I'm in, and he can't afford to not play him now. Pedro's away as well. Williams there, Mount's there, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but none of them like play as well on the left hand side. So I think he's someone who I like, definitely.
I mean, it would be Hudson-Odoi, wouldn't it? I suppose he's the kind of the natural replacement there.
He did say that he wasn't fit yet, so I reckon if we are going to see him, he's going to bleed him in slowly, which is good. But yeah, no, I forgot about Hudson-Odoi. I had written it down why I didn't like him. But again, Dinnery had a wee tweet earlier this week that said, Lampard doesn't think he's that fit. Because when a manager comes out and says like he's not injured, he's just not fit, that's telling. Like I like that because we're not even worried about him starting ever until we see him coming off the bench. So I'm not too worried about that. What was I gonna say? I had another one. Oh yeah, have you noticed that both the last 2 games that Chelsea have played, Abraham hasn't started?
Yeah, it's been Giroud, hasn't it? I think that Lampard is one of those managers that tends to reward good performances. So I think he probably had a bigger dilemma in the first game of the restart. Picked Giroud. Giroud obviously scored, albeit under slightly fortuitous circumstances. And I think Lampard's managerial style is one that kind of says, okay, look, I took a chance on you. You scored. Have another game, and he's been kind of like that. He was like it with Tammy as well. Tammy was
a very loyal manager.
Yeah, kind of like if you perform well for me, then you're going to get game time, And I think that's Lampard's criteria. He doesn't seem to have many personal biases in that regards. It's if you perform well, you will play.
I'm having a look at. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, Tammy. I think Tammy is one of those players that probably does need a bit of a run in the team before he's going to pick up momentum, and he's obviously not getting that, which isn't good for him. But I don't know. What do you reckon? Has he been playing well?
Giroud, not really.
No, Tammy.
Oh, Tammy. When Tammy came on today, it was fine, but it was more like, we were jumping to them. We were trying to take the game to them. They didn't have legs at the back, so Abraham was just able to just totally dominate with his speed. So they couldn't really deal with him. Has he been playing well when he's came on the previous game? Not really. I haven't seen enough that if I was the manager, I'd be like, yeah, let's play him. Like he got that penalty, but that's more FPL than anything else. I probably wouldn't want him in my team for sure.
Giroud's just so useful, isn't he? I think particularly if Giroud is flanked by Pulisic and Willian,
yes.
Being that anchor centre forward is what Giroud does best. Holding up the ball, getting his head on things. Distributing. He's very, very good at all those things. He's almost Firmino-esque in that sense. The only time we'll ever hear Giroud compared to Firmino, but they play a similar role in that regard.
Something's happening in my living room. I gotta go and tell her to shush. She's singing. She's just happy Liverpool have won, guys. That's all it is. I gotta go and stop her.
I'm gonna speak to the chat.
Yeah, so I've got 2 things for you then. Pulisic scored and almost got another because of defensive errors. Do you think that's a good thing? What do you reckon of that? And It's Raw has asked, will Giroud start over Werner next season? Go for it.
Yeah, cool. I'll go through them. Thank you for reading for me. Pulisic scored, almost got another down to Mendy's mistake tonight. No, I think Oblivious J, it was Pulisic's own finesse. Yes, of course, the door was open to him by a defensive error, but 9 times out of 10, a player who picks up the ball in their own half, error or no error, is not going to score from a chance like that. He had a lot to do. I think Pulisic has shown that he is he's back already. I didn't even finish the Pulisic.
No, continue. I
think Pulisic has shown that he is a very, very capable attacker. I like him. I think he's got plenty of finesse. Would you go for Alonso in defence as an attacking defender? I like Alonso. Shaughnessy. I do like Alonso. He is, however, a murderer, lest we forget. So it is quite hard to justify including him. But no, obviously, he's an incredibly exciting player to own.
I think I'd rather ask Blackwater, to be quite frank.
Yeah, Azpilicueta's looked good, and he got an assist in the last game.
Yeah, had
Set off
two
Pulisic's goal.
assists.
Two assists, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
He had a great couple efforts today. There was one or two things that I didn't really like, but that was defense as a whole. Would you actually consider bringing any Chelsea defense in? They've got West Ham, Watford, Crystal Palace, Sheffield, Norwich.
Yeah, I mean, great fixtures.
Yeah.
And a lot of those, you think of the likes of Sheffield United, for example, probably one of the best teams to play at the moment for defences. You're not going to score many against Sheffield United, but you're not going to concede many either, let's face it.
Yeah, and I mean, you would only need them for 3 games, and you might even want to bring them out again or whatever. Like, you don't have to have them long term. It's just great that the fixtures are there just in case.
I mean, I would say, with the exception of Pulisic, the defence is probably the best area to invest in Chelsea, because everything else is so uncertain in terms of who's going to start in other positions.
Yeah.
That actually the only area of consistency seems to be their fullbacks at the moment, and that's definitely the most exciting Chelsea avenue for me.
We've got redeemed by Daffs, our next topic, Sheffield United defenders. Now, we don't have to spend any amount of time on this, or we could spend as much time as we want on this. But Sheffield United defenders, what are you planning on doing?
Daffs is captaining Aurier as well. I just want to make that clear. I really hope he does that. Sheffield United defenders, well, I've got 2 of them, Baldock and Egan. Obviously, Egan serving a suspension at the moment. It's hard, isn't it? I don't want to hold that 3-0 against them too much. Well, they've lost 3-0 twice in a row now.
Yeah.
I don't want to hold any of them really against them too much, because in the first one they had 10 men before prior to that they hadn't conceded until the red. And in the second game they had a dilapidated defence, and of course they had their second string goalkeeper. So I don't feel like we've seen Sheffield United at their best defensively yet. And let's not forget, they did keep a clean sheet in their first match against Aston Villa, very comfortably, I thought, as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was decent, but that's the kind of fixture I would want them defensively, right? Tottenham next, then Burnley, which is okay. After that's Wolves, Chelsea, Leicester, Everton. Like, as we get further into the season ending, I think we're going to see more goals, more fire, more fight from a lot of teams, especially these ones. Like, Wolves, Chelsea, and Leicester are all fighting in the same position in the table. I don't think, maybe only Everton, but would you want to keep Egan through those 3 bad ones? I don't think so.
I also wonder, Dave, whether the fact that they've lost their last 2 games means that, with the prospect of Europe looking slimmer and slimmer, their attention might just turn to, they are slowly, they're getting nearer and nearer to the beach, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, they can hear the seagulls now.
Yeah.
And I do wonder whether if they lose a few more, what do they have to fight for? I think what we loved so much about Sheffield United was the idea that they had something to push on for. That seems to be a bit of a fight.
Reach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And to be honest, like, there's so many other defenders. We've been talking about it all night and the last couple of streams. It seems to be like fullback or nothing recently. Doherty has been in the mix. Everyone wants him. Aurier, we've been talking about Wan-Bissaka. These are the players that we want to kind of go for, and they're not too expensive because everyone's kind of jumping off Liverpool. We can touch on that briefly. They've just won the league. Do we think that they're gonna get much minutes next? Are they going to go for that all the titles and all the what are they called, rewards and the golden boots and blah 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 blah? Do you think they care? Do you think Klopp gives a shit, or do you think he's going to do exactly what he's done every other season and everything he's ever done, which is just let the little guys play?
I'd be interested to get Ben Dinnery's perspective on this. My personal perspective is that the incentive for Klopp will not be accolades, will not be records or anything like that. I think his incentive will be Trent Alexander-Arnold, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Andrew Robertson have just had 3 months off. Klopp has a incentive to keep them match fit, to keep them playing. There is, as Ben Dinnery always says, no comparison with competitive football matches as far as keeping your players fit, keeping them sharp. And there isn't going to be the same break that we've seen in other pre-seasons between this season and the next season. And so that sharpness I don't think that I would be comfortable having Liverpool players in my FPL team. I think with the 5 subs, there's going to be plenty of rotation. But it would surprise me if Salah, Mane, Trent and the like just disappear off the face of the earth now. I think they're still going to feature relatively heavily. I just don't think with any consistency that we've seen prior to this.
Made a good point in chat. Daft says Liverpool aren't in the FA Cup or Champions League final, so I think he'll be going all out and play like they've been playing, which is a good point. But it just goes against the contrary. Like, they weren't in any of that stuff last year. Well, they were in the Champions League, obviously, but like they weren't in the FA Cup last year. He played his kiddos in the Premier League.
I mean, Dave, if you were Klopp, what would you do?
I would play them all like 60 minutes, 50 minutes,
half
an hour. Like, I wouldn't give them a full game. And are you going to pay 12 million for maybe a goal in 45 minutes? I'm not doing it, and you're not doing it. There's lots of people that decided during the unlimited transfers that I'm just going to get rid of them, and it means you can afford an awesome team full of Dohertys and Wan-Bissakas and all the rest of it, not worrying about what the expense is, because your midfield just isn't worth 25 million in Mane and Salah anymore. It just makes your team so much more rounded.
Yeah, I think that the time to make hay when it came to Liverpool was in these first 2 games.
Yeah.
And anyone who committed to that, they got their rewards yesterday in the Crystal Palace game. I mean, fair play to them. If you had Mane, Salah, Trent, you were going to profit. You had Trent, fair play to you, 14 points on the board, lovely job. But it was always going to be a short-term proposition for me.
You sounded a little bit hurt when you said that. Did you not have Trent?
No, mate. Trent constituted over 25% of my total points. It came to 31.
That's so funny. I made that error earlier in the season. I took Trent out. He got 21 points next game. Brought him in. Told him I would never leave him alone ever again. Then when it came to unlimited transfers, most of my drafts didn't have him in. And the last day I was like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? And put him back in. And exactly that. He's what's his point total in the last 2 games? He's got 14 and 21 points in 2 games. It would have happened again. Exact same thing. So yeah, never leave Trent. However, we'll cut it down now. We've only got 5 minutes to go. If you have Salah and that, then awesome. Like, you can either keep them for a bit and see what happens, or you can get rid of them now, especially if you're on a wild card, because the best time to swap that money around is when you're on a wild card. If you don't have them, you're not going to get them anyway. So it's not like you're going to go, oh, fuck, Salah just got an assist and a goal, so I'm going to bring him in now. You're not going to do that once they've won the league. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I think you're in the same place that I am and James is with fucking Aubameyang, which is funny. Last thing to talk about before we quickly look at our wee team is City. What are we doing? Jesus wasn't on for the first half. Like we said, he underestimated Chelsea. They've got really good fixtures after Liverpool. I only have De Bruyne. I think you have De Bruyne and Laporte and Ederson. What are you planning on doing?
Keeping them all.
Yeah, you're just going to go for it, ride out that lightning?
Yeah, I think particularly with Fernandinho's red card, I'm less worried about Laporte rotation, which we saw the game before tonight's Chelsea game. I mean, I'm a stats man, Dave. You know this. Man City is still the best for XGA. They're still the best for XG. De Bruyne, I mean, always captain De Bruyne has never been truer than he is at the moment. So for me,
what a free kick! Fucking mental.
He's just phenomenal, and even when he's not scoring, like he creates so much. I mean, we don't need to waste seconds talking about how great De Bruyne is. We are preaching to the converted. Everyone knows it. He stays. They all stay. I think it's a lot of money to put in Man City's defence, but you got to remember, I'm gearing up for a bench boost, which I've still got. I've also got my wild card, so I do have flexibility here. But for now, they'll stay.
Okay, perfect.
What about you?
Yeah, City for me. De Bruyne obviously is going to stay until the end. He's the only player I've had since game week 1 that is going to make it to the end. Like I said, I brought Trent out for 1 game. I want another City player. I was planning on doing Aubameyang for 1 game, and then after Norwich, take him out and bring in Jesus, because when Aguero's not fit, then you get the other one. But it seems like that he's not very safe. Now, hopefully Pep sees today and was like, you know what, I underestimate Chelsea. The game totally changed when I brought on Jesus. I think I need to do it for the future. However, like, at least I've got 1 more week to see if that is the case, as I keep Aubameyang and hope that he can score for the first game in 4 games. Regarding their defense, like if I had a defensive transfer that I would want to make, like if there was someone in my defense that I was like, nah, I don't like him, then I would probably look at City after next game week. But there's no one in my defense that I want to get rid of. I've got Egan and Lascelles, and if I change Egan, it'll be for Aurier or something. I'm not going to go up to Lascelles. And I've got Henderson in goals, and I don't mind riding out a keeper because it's one of the things I try not to do is change my keeper too much. So.
And yeah, I mean, your defence had an absolute blinder this week, didn't they? I mean, phenomenal. Yeah. So,
thank you.
I mean, yeah, I definitely. I mean, over 30 points amongst the 3 players.
It was actually ridiculous. I should have captained one of them.
So, I mean, yeah, I completely. I don't see why you would ever change them at the moment.
Yeah, Foden is a fun one. Someone said in the chat. I don't know yet. I mean, he didn't play tonight. He didn't play at all. David Silva was in. I guess it was a harder fixture. We'll have to see. I don't want anyone in that is not only a risk in that they might not get anything from them, but also like they don't start. I just don't want that in my life. I'm taking too many risks already. We have 1 minute, James, before you need to go to bed. I am going to show everyone our stupid money where your mouth is team. We got 37 points. Hallelujah.
Right.
Maguire's going to come in for Sane though, which gives us 43 points. But on our team, we've got Robertson, Dean, and Kane captain, and Maguire. That's all we did. Are we looking to make any transfers, do you think? We're going to have to take Sane out at some point.
Yeah, I think Sane's the obvious one here. If I remember correctly, Dave, and I don't want to beat this drum too loudly, but I remember being quite vocal about my support for Nicolas Pepe being shot down, who of course scored.
But I didn't shoot him down because it wasn't a bad choice. It was just because everyone was doing that on their free hit. He's not very differentially.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, that's true.
So what do you think? Bring in Pulisic now?
No, he's not differential. He scored in his last 2 games.
He's only 4.2%. Everyone's going to be bringing him in now, but he's not owned that much. Yeah. I'm not allowed to bring Pulisic in? That's fucking bullshit.
No. He's going to be one of the most transferred in players this week.
Do you think so?
That doesn't count as a differential.
Right, okay, fair enough. No, you're right. I'm wrong. I get it. I get it. You're absolutely right.
Those words are music to my ears.
So is there anyone else that you've been thinking like no one's bringing him in and we should have him in midfield?
Not
really, is there? Decore didn't start, so we can't get him. Sar's a bit too much. Greenwood's playing kind of. What about Pogba? Mate, not many people are doing Pogba. That might be fun.
I'd take Pogba in the team.
Yeah, we did Pogba.
It's going to cost us a £5.
I'm okay with spending a £5 on Pogba.
I think we've got to get rid of Sane, haven't we? I think we can both agree on that. So let's. I mean, I hate our midfield, to be honest with you.
We've got a few people in the chat. So PVA out for Dean. We have Dean in the team, which you've just seen that there. Nice one. How is Vardy in this team? Because no one was going for him. Everyone was taking him out, remember? So that's why. But this is the team. So that means there's 15 quid now in the pot if Aubameyang doesn't score.
Yeah, that's correct.
Transfer made.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that midfield so much. I can't even tell you, Dave.
Barnes, Loftus-Cheek, Pogba, Harry Wilson.
Harry Wilson, Barnes and Loftus-Cheek. It's like, where is the money in this team?
You don't want to give Bournemouth... Mate, we've got 2.4 million left in the bank. Like, we can totally
I feel like we should have about 17 million in the bank. But honestly, where is the money? I guess it's in Vardy and Kane, I guess. But it's just... Oh, God.
You don't want to give Bournemouth one more game? I think we're going to have to give them one game. We don't have enough time to do any more transfers. You've got Betty.
No. We need to give them more. I can't afford to.
You can't afford another £5.
I'll stay there.
I've got one question to ask you before we end. What is your captain going to be for game week 32 plus?
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Is it really?
Oh, yes.
What?
Oh, yes. Norwich are poor.
Right.
That's all I've got to say.
Right, I'm gonna do. I can't believe you. Are you on? Because I actually put him as my captain, like just as like that's the best fixture. I'll come back to it. I'm gonna put a poll up in the chat, but like, is there anything else?
Dave? Well, I watched the game, right, and I was looking at Aubameyang, so I was thinking, am I going to captain this guy? And everything that I saw from him made me think, yeah, I can captain him.
Really?
So penalties as well, let's not forget. So he Actually, he might not be anymore. I don't know if Ceballos took that off him, but in any case, I've got faith in him. I've got faith in him. He's in my team. He's the most expensive player in my team. You captain your most expensive players when they're playing Norwich.
That's so scary. I've got it up in the chat there. Captain for next week. Man United, Aubameyang, Liverpool, or we'll do it in a deadline kind of the mainstead. Chelsea are also playing West Ham. I don't think there's enough. So
probably on Saturday at some point with the Fantasy Weekly crew.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So that will be an opportunity to drill you a little bit more. It's probably going to be Saturday morning, I think.
Yeah, we can do that.
Potentially a breakfast show.
I don't mind doing breakfast show. That sounds good. We'll have a quick look with the my old calendar. Make sure we are doing a deadline stream here though. Firing blanks on Saturday. You are either going to join us or your picture is going to join us, but either way it'll be very fun, James, don't you worry. For everyone who is listening, thank you very much. Everyone who's in the chat, thank you very much. YouTube, all that good stuff. I really appreciate you guys coming out. It's a bit late. Thank you, James, for staying up so late.
4 minutes past 11, my word. What would Mother Pope say?
I'm so sorry, mate. Actually, I'm not sorry. You need to fucking sort your life out, man. You're 28 or something. Wait,
29. 29. Shade off 30 now. I'm getting crow's feet.
Mate, I'm gonna come over and see you when you're 30. I'm gonna come. It's gonna be like a big birthday. We're gonna go to. No, you can come up here. I'll treat you for your birthday. Glasgow.
No, I think you have to come to me because there will be.
You're
other
an old
people.
man and you can't get here. Yeah, fair play.
Maybe,
right.
Probably not. We'll talk logistics near the time.
We've got a fucking year. Right, thank you very much, guys. We'll talk to you guys later on Saturday at some point. Bye. That was decent, mate.
I'm so sweaty.